Alrighty. Recording has started, so, you know, keep it kid friendly. Perfect. Alrighty. So I'm just gonna wait a few minutes while more people join the webinar here. So while we're doing that, Matt, how's your day going so far?
My day is going pretty well. I had an extra hour to prepare for this webinar that I didn't expect, so that's always good.
Good, good. Preparation is key, right?
What's that?
I said preparation is key, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have
Were
more.
you a Boy Scout by chance?
What's that?
Were you a Boy Scout by chance?
I was not a Boy Scout, no. Little League, but not the Boy Scouts.
Okay, okay.
Were you a Girl Scout?
I was for 10 years.
Nice.
Most people say they don't see me as the type, but I was there.
Nice. Yeah. Has anyone gotten outside yet during this beautiful day?
You know what? Whenever the only time I got outside today so far was obviously leaving my house and getting in the car to then get to my office. But it was really, really nice out just this morning. Because usually lately it's been like cold in the morning. I still have to put a jacket on, but it was gorgeous. I didn't grab my jacket. Hoping that doesn't bite me in the butt.
Yeah. It's a beautiful day to get out there and record some YouTube videos. I see my friend and colleague Kelly Powers is in the room. Hello, Kelly.
Yes, another local business owner. Always glad to support our community. Super excited to have these resources.
And Susan and Jennifer, I see you joined. Thank you so much. My name is Matt DeSarle. Look forward to today's chat.
I apologize. I'm just sending the link out to a few folks here that were requesting it. Alrighty. Admit them. Okay. So I did see someone mention that mics are disabled. Mics and videos will be disabled for guests for now, but we do hope to do some Q&A a little later on. Maybe we'll open up the mics. But for now, we're just going to keep it a little streamlined with just the presenters. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to throw them in the chat. We're hoping to, like I said, also do a Q&A. And of course, you're here because you received my email. If you ever have any questions outside of this webinar, feel free to shoot me an email and I'll make sure we get it answered for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. And first of all, I'd like to thank Matt so much for joining us today. It is so great to be able to have a literal local expert on video production on today. I know you don't usually set up people's YouTube channels, but you have a lot of experience in it. So I'm really excited to be able to bring you on today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you to Caitlin and Brandy and everyone at Universal Settlement Services for the opportunity. Really excited about this today. But I prepared a lot of material. Not everything will make it into the hour, so we'll be respectful of your time. But Caitlin and I will kind of co-host this and make sure that your questions are answered throughout the presentation.
Yeah. Before we get into sort of the bulk and the meat of this, Matt, could you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your businesses in the area and what kind of services you provide to your normal everyday clients?
Sure. Let me share my screen here. I guess that'll be the first cue to kind of share my screen real quick here. I could. Okay. And I'm assuming you're seeing the kind of intro slide there.
I sure am.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Matt DeSarle, and I've been a television producer and or videographer for the past 17 years. Started my career in TV news, worked as a local newscast producer for about 10 years, and video editing was a large part of that. And then 7 years ago, when my wife and I welcomed our first of 2 boys into the world, I started my own business as a local videographer and video editor, helping small businesses produce videos. And so YouTube has been a huge piece of that. Here's sort of my contact info if you're interested in reaching out after the meeting. But I have a business in Kansas City, in the Kansas City area, called Matty D Media, and our family moved here a year and a half ago to Pennsylvania. And so my new business here is all business videography. So like I said, I'll stop my sharing for the moment here. Yeah, like I said, I mean, not many things have been consistent in that 16 or 17-year career in media, but one thing that has been consistent is the power of YouTube. So I'm looking forward to kind of sharing some tips. Hello, Brandy. Looking forward to sharing some tips about how you all can get started or maybe reinvest time and efforts into YouTube.
I muted myself so I wouldn't distract myself while you're speaking, but then I struggled to unmic myself. So, the usual here. I do want to thank everyone for joining us today, and fair warning that this is our first time using Microsoft Teams to host one of these webinars, so please bear with us as we deal with any sort of interesting little bugs and fixes. We definitely prefer feedback. If you have it after the meeting, we would definitely love that. And Matt, do you just want to jump right into it?
Sure, yeah. So I have 2 questions that I'd like to pose to the audience here, and if you think of anything related to either of these 2 questions during the presentation here, feel free to put those questions and comments in the chat. But my first question for the audience here is just, why are you all interested in launching a YouTube channel, or like I said, sort of maybe reinvesting your time and effort into a YouTube channel? That's kind of the first question. And the second question I have for the audience is, what is the biggest barrier that you think there is from you producing videos for YouTube or really any social media channel? So if you want to consider that, I may be able to touch on some of those as we go along. But I'm going to go into screen sharing mode here again, just to kind of talk about the benefits of starting a YouTube channel, why you should consider doing that. So here's kind of the top reasons here. YouTube is by itself the #2 search engine in the world. The #1 search engine in the world is Google, and that actually owns YouTube. So obviously you can have outstanding sort of online visibility to your business. And it's an opportunity to connect with prospective clients who enjoy watching videos. Obviously, some people prefer reading to learn. Others are visual learners like myself. So, how many times can you think of learning about a process by going to YouTube and searching for that problem to solve that problem on YouTube? So it's also a great place for Q&A. So if you're, someone who thrives in interactivity and likes to kind of rely on your audience and your clients for ideas, it's a great place to gather comments and questions and input. Maybe the top reason of all is that it's a unique opportunity to leverage your expertise, personality, and your authentic local presence. It's free. However, if you are paying for online marketing and advertising, YouTube videos are an easy fit into that multimedia mix of content that you boost. For example, it's very user-friendly to embed YouTube videos into your website. I know Caitlin and I were kind of going over this list together as well. I don't know if you had any additional sort of pros or cons to YouTube that you wanted to chime in with here.
I do have just sort of one interesting sort of concept that I had seen a little while back whenever I was looking at marketing plans and stuff. A YouTube video is a great way to do a long form content, but while doing the production for that YouTube video, which say you're doing a really long Q&A with the benefits of buying a home, selling a home, why use you as a realtor, and say you have 25 minutes of content, that is an excellent YouTube video to share. But then from that content, you can make so much more for all these other platforms, and it starts from this YouTube video that you initially created. So I think it's a great platform to get on to really just share your experience, share your resources, and become a valuable asset to the community and your potential clients.
Yeah, that's a great point. And there's actually kind of a spirited debate right now on YouTube about whether you should be producing long form or short form. YouTube Shorts have become really popular. Those are videos that are 60 seconds or less. I'm going to get into that a little bit more in a moment here as I show kind of the nuts and bolts of how to create and how to manage your channel. So I'll touch on that. But I don't think there's any one right reason. There's a time and place for long form. There's a time and place for short form. Case in point, we're kind of doing this interactive webinar right now. This is a long form, presentation itself. But there will be individual YouTube videos that already live on a YouTube playlist that are topic specific that you can check out after this. So that might be a case where, we're trying to balance long form and short form. So without further ado, let me show you just nuts and bolts about how to create a YouTube channel for your business. I'm going to turn my sharing back on here. So can you all see my Google search here?
We sure can.
Okay, so like I said, I'm sort of in soft launch mode of my new business, All Business Videography here in Pennsylvania. So right now I'm operating while logged into that account. As we just mentioned, Google owns YouTube. So when I'm logged into my Gmail account right here, I can easily go to YouTube and be right in the correct place to start my own channel. So you want to kind of have that hierarchy where your business is the parent company to your YouTube channel, and you have that synergy there in terms of your online outreach. And there may be opportunities where you might want to do multiple YouTube channels underneath that one umbrella parent company. So right now I'm just clicking on the top right-hand corner of my Google login here. I'm going to go to my profile. And then I'm going to click on my profile photo here. And then I'm going to go down to settings. And right in the middle of the settings section here, it's going to say add or manage your YouTube channels. So here it shows the channels that I have in existence. I can go here if I'm a realtor who specializes in luxury homes. I can create a channel that is luxury homes of State College, for example, right? I'm not going to do this right now because I don't want to compete with any of you who may want that same opportunity. But for the purposes of this webinar, I did kind of create a channel that was just called the State College PA Homeowner Channel. So this is just kind of like a mock-up channel that I started just for the purposes of this webinar here. So once you accept the terms of YouTube and launch your channel, that's basically it. You're off and running and you have a YouTube channel. You want to decide whether or not the channel will be a personal or a brand channel. If you're a local business owner, you're going to want it to be a brand channel. And then one of the really big benefits of doing that is that you can have multiple people contribute content to that channel. For example, if Brandy and Caitlin work together and they're co-managing the Universal Settlement Services page, either one of them can upload a video to that channel. Let me show you now how to actually upload a video, and I'm going to continue here with sort of the nuts and bolts tactical stuff on in terms of how to create and manage a YouTube channel. Then we'll kind of take a step back and talk more broadly about some theory type of stuff. So I'm going to go to the top right corner here, and I'm going to click on Create. That's going to give me the opportunity to upload a video onto YouTube, right? So I'm going to click on Upload a Video, and then I'm going to select a file. I'm going to select a file right from my computer here. This is to use the I saw that there was an opportunity to produce videos here in State College that showcase the best playgrounds. So I think it would be a good idea to maybe do a playlist, a YouTube playlist that kind of gives a rundown of the top 5 or the top 10 best playgrounds in State College. So right now I have this video that's uploading onto my YouTube channel. Right now, this is just kind of a file specific title to my video. So I can change this to say, Haymarket Park is State College's best park. You want to write a headline that can help generate, help answer a question or entertain an audience. Think of the audience and the viewer. Think of what they're searching for. So if it's, the top 5 tips for staging a home, or top 5, mistakes to avoid if you're a first-time home buyer, those sorts of things. Right below the headline of your video is the description. Anything that you're doing here on the back end of YouTube is really in the spirit of giving YouTube and therefore Google as much data as possible so they can go out into the Googleverse and find the correct audience for you. So you really want to be intentional about what you write here in the description. And then when people are using YouTube, they're gonna be able to see the first 3 or 4 lines of the copy that you write here. So if you have a web address that you want to be included and clickable for people, you want to include that in the top half of the fold there. And you can also use hashtags. So I want to write hashtags here. I want to write my description, and then maybe I want to write have my actual website listed out there on the 3rd line. That's just a good way to kind of approach your the back end of your YouTube channel. Once your channel is verified, you have the opportunity to upload a custom thumbnail. Thumbnails, believe it or not, are really, really important in terms of attracting the right target audience to your YouTube channel. So you want to definitely take advantage of that. If you haven't verified your channel yet, and it's not like verifying your channel through Twitter where you need to have millions of followers and you need to have some sort of authority. Verifying your channel on YouTube is really simple and straightforward. So you want to take advantage of that. But in the meantime here, because I just launched this channel, I have 3 options for a thumbnail here. So I want to put our cute little baby boy there and attract more viewers. Here is an option to add this to a playlist. I've created a playlist, Best Playgrounds in State College. So I want to make sure that I'm uploading that to that playlist. If I forget to do that at this point, I can circle back and do that later. And that's actually an important point. You can always kind of circle back and re-edit this in the future. Let's say, for example, this is Best Parks in State College in the year 2023. I can come back in the year 2024 and rebrand this and rewrite the headline. That's obviously not a tool that I would abuse, because Google is smart to those sorts of abuses. But if it's genuinely still relevant advice that you're giving your YouTube followers, I would take advantage of that. I'm scrolling here down to the tags. These are keyword searchable tags that you want to put on your video that again relate to how the audience is searching for this content. So in this example, I would want to definitely include playground, parks, State College, maybe Pennsylvania. Again, think of who your audience is and what terms they might be looking for. The video location is really important, especially because if you were to go and search right now, if I were to go onto YouTube and let me just open up a new window here. If I were to just search, let's say, best things about living in State College, Pennsylvania. If I do that right now, this is kind of a fun exercise. The top 3 videos, only one of them is actually an authentic, local person. I continue to scroll down the top 10 or so. A lot of them aren't even people who are here in State College. So this kind of speaks to the wide open opportunity that you have to produce local, authentic content, which is really what is going to resonate with your core audience here, buyers and sellers of properties in State College. And then just another way to authenticate that you're here locally is that you can put the location here. So let me see if Haymarket Park in State College is one of those options. It's not currently. I could make it State College, or I can look for a specific local address. It's possible that one of the Little League fields, for example, at this park would be an option. So let me kind of take a breather here, take a step back and see if there's any questions at this point.
So Matt, I wanted to point out because you showed me this the other day, but whenever you're uploading a YouTube channel, I know it's kind of instinctual, like, oh, there's nothing wrong with my video that I have. It could be family friendly. Why don't I click it's made for kids?
Okay, yeah, that's a great point. So, if you, unless you are like specifically creating content for children, like unless you are, Nickelodeon, let's say, or Nick Jr. or whatever, I would avoid um, clicking that it's content made for children, because that's going to automatically turn off the ability for the viewers to comment on that content. So, part of the reason why you're doing this is to engage with your audience and become the local resource for your audience. So kind of, banning the ability for them to comment on the video, I think would not be a smart practice in order to get that interactivity. So, like I said, unless you are literally producing content for, children ages, 10 or younger, and you just don't want anyone writing anything appropriate in the comments, I would avoid doing that. So, are there any other questions at this point, kind of on the back end? That was really just a quick whip around of the back end of YouTube and Creator Studio in terms of, what tools you have available to enrich your content on the back end there.
Can I add something, or not really add, but ask a question, just because like I wasn't in the original conversation. So when you were bringing up the playlist and what that playlist is, for most people, a playlist to me is music.
Yeah.
Can you explain what the playlist means? Like, what is, when you see playlist, I obviously think of music. What does playlist mean in YouTube world?
Awesome. Okay, great question. So, the best analogy is the one that you just made. A playlist is very similar. It behaves very similar to a playlist that you would make for music, right? So the cool thing about playlists, you're literally just choosing, which video plays first, how many videos are in that playlist. You're basically creating a series, and you're handpicking, which videos are going to play in that series. And then in terms of how your channel presents to your audience, let me turn my screen sharing back on here. Sorry for the delay between toggling back and forth here. So, the cool thing about playlists, if you're literally just getting started, is that when I'm just kind of navigating my YouTube account here again. I'm going into the Creator Studio, and then I'm going to go over to Content. And this is where I can manage my playlists. So right here, I'm in the top bar here. I'm clicking on playlists, and then I can create a new playlist or start editing the one that I already have. When I go to edit the one that I have, the cool thing about this is that I can add videos to the playlist that I didn't create. So that's a good opportunity, to use this playground analogy. If there are videos, like, for example, the top video that I put on my playlist was Tom Tudyk Park. That's my top choice as the best playground here in State College. I also like Haymarket Park. That's the third one on this playlist. I also like Tom Tudyk Park, but I haven't had time yet to shoot a new video out there. So I found that there's a video that already exists there on YouTube. So I was actually able to add that. So when I go to these three dots here, I'm able to kind of add videos and create videos for my YouTube playlist here. So gives you a lot of flexibility, and these things can evolve over time. So YouTube playlist is just a great way to sort of organize your content, and make sure that the viewer experience is more catered to what they're looking for. When I go to my YouTube channel here, this is the channel that I have in in the Kansas City area. So when you go to the channel, the way that I managed it is that there's a video that can play first here on your channel. And all of the tools that I'm going to mention right now, you can find in this customize channel button. But kind of the way that I organize this is that if you're a new viewer, if you've never visited this channel before, this video is going to kind of play first and say who we are, what we do. just kind of an introductory video to who we are. And then it has just a section here for new videos, more videos about us. There's shorts here. And then if you want to go and create new playlists that are maybe topic specific or industry specific, or a playlist or a section that has playlists, just for buyers, and a separate section with playlists for sellers, you can manage it that way as well. So in addition to playlists being, a good way for you to kind of be your, the DJ of your YouTube channel, it's also another way for you to play, songs by other artists, to use that analogy. So,
Love that.
Matt, if it's all right, I'd love to pop in real quick. So I love using playlists as a way to organize my own content, or even to view content on other channels. If you guys happen to watch the Try Guys, I specifically love their videos where Keith somehow eats the entire menu at a restaurant. So I will often like go to their channel and go to just that playlist, because I mean, some of their content I don't really care about. So
Yeah.
it's a great way to organize your content. You could even almost make like a home buyer process playlist, or you could also create like it is a really great opportunity to be able to, if you're having trouble creating some content but you still want to provide resources on your channel, you could create a playlist where maybe you have a technology tips playlist and you have 2 videos that are yours, but then you've pulled resources from realtor.com or the Zillow one, or maybe not Zillow, but you know what I mean. And I think it's a great tool. Obviously, creating videos is your first step, but it's not the only step when it comes to making sure your YouTube is successful.
I totally agree. I want to finish up on kind of the back end. Before you publish a video, I want to just show you some additional, are there any other questions on kind of what I covered so far? Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay, feel free to share your questions. Happy to answer any questions you have. But let me go back into my channel here and the content that I was uploading. So this was the video that I was uploading about Haymarket Park. I want to show you the publishing options that you have, because there's a unique opportunity here as well. Majority of the times you're just going to want to publish this article to this video to the public. So right now, if I wanted to do that, I would click on public, but I just want to quickly run down the benefits, the pros and cons of these individual choices. So if you wanted to keep the video private, obviously no one would be able to see it except for your team internally. So to use the, Brandy and Caitlin example, if they just wanted to share videos on the channel that they were looking at together internally, that may be a rare case where you want to use private. Otherwise, I wouldn't see why you'd be using that if you're looking to, manage a YouTube channel where you're kind of, presenting yourself, centering yourself as the local expert. Unlisted, this is a good option actually if you want to make the content exclusive, even if you want to open up maybe a short window of time where you're making the content exclusive to maybe your existing clients. A good example of this may be if you're doing an email marketing campaign or you have a large email list, you might want to make content exclusive maybe for a week or two before publishing it. Or maybe you just always want to keep it unlisted. The term unlisted is really similar to kind of the connotation of the old, your old rotary phone number. If it's unlisted, it's not published in the phone book. Nobody can go out and publicly search for it, but you can choose on a one-to-one basis who you're sharing that YouTube link with and who can watch that video. So when you go down to public, you have the option to publish it immediately. If I went down here and I hit this blue publish video button, that's exactly what would happen. Or I can schedule it as a premiere. I can choose to make it an instant premiere, or I can schedule this as a premiere. There's actually a paranormal video series that I produce in Kansas. It's called Free State Horror Stories. Sorry for the shameless plug, but we actually premiere a new video on that every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. We kind of use like a primetime model for that. So if I wanted to schedule this, to publish Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, I can go here and manually do that and then set it as a premiere. And then that will set up a link I can go ahead and do this. I don't think my son will mind that he'll be an instant premiere here on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So just that I can show you what that looks like. So this is a link that I can share for the week leading up to that instant premiere. And then it says right here at the bottom, a little footnote that says this video is going to premiere in 7 days. The cool thing about a YouTube premiere video is that you can kind of pre-produce your content, have it locked and loaded here on the back end, ready to publish. You can go use that next week or all the lead up time to promote that series. And then as the content is premiering to the world, you have a chat window here to the side where you can have a Q&A that runs concurrently. So while your content is premiering to, on YouTube for the first time, you can be answering questions from your audience at the same time. So it's a cool feature if you're if you're getting into YouTube, or like I said, reinvesting your time and efforts into YouTube. I would consider, kind of the life cycle of the content, how much content you think you can produce, and kind of what is what sort of life cycle you want for the distribution of the content. So let me back out of here again. Any questions on how to publish, when to publish, how to tag, all that good stuff on the back end?
I do have a sort of example. So I've actually done an unlisted YouTube video for Universal here where we had a lunch and learn. And this was something that we wanted to be able to video in case we ever wanted to revert back to what we had taught, what kind of information we had gone over, but we didn't necessarily want it to the full public, but we wanted the team that we were lunching with to be able to review it in the future. So I was able to create this unlisted video for that specific brokerage we teamed up with, and they're the only ones who can access that video. And so it's really interesting. There's a lot of cool things you can do so long as you're thinking about all the options you can do. I know it sounds overwhelming, but it's truly just what you want out of YouTube. If you can clearly define your goals, there's definitely a way to go there. Yes, Kelly. Yes, they can, because it'll be just like a link. If they have the link, they can access it, but they won't be able to search it. So if I were to label my video, like say for instance, I'm going to use your example here, awesome parks in State College featuring Tudick Park. You wouldn't be able to search that, but if I sent you that link and you were to click on that link, you could access it. And if you were to forward that link to someone else, they could access it. But if you search it, it won't appear.
Yep. So the question was, if it's an unlisted video, can it still be shared? So like if Brandy was my real estate agent and I was a first-time home seller and we sold our home and I made a lot of mistakes, in staging or cleaning my house before, we got it ready for the market. And she produced a video that said, hey, Matt, here are some things that we need to clean up. In the meantime, let me just show you. And she did a video and she sent it to me unlisted so that my wife and I could look at it and say, oh, wow, here are some mistakes that we made. And then maybe Brandy goes to Caitlin a year later and says, hey, Matt, I want to show this video to Caitlin about the mistakes you made. Do you mind if I do that? And then that might be a rare case where you might want to share it one-to-one. So yeah, like you said, that video, the link itself can be shared. It's just one custom URL, just like any other website address.
Mm-hmm. It's not like Snapchat. It's not something that goes away unless you take it away.
Yeah. Yep. So I would like to pivot to some brainstorming about video ideas, just maybe some topics, or some frameworks for how to get started producing new YouTube videos if you're maybe struggling to kind of brainstorm what you should even be producing. And so I would just kind of encourage folks to maybe share any challenges that they're seeing in the chat, because we can kind of use that as part of this exercise. I am going to turn my sharing back on here in a moment. And Brandy, you're gonna get a lot of me presenting, because I'm presenting today with you all, and then tomorrow for BNI in a separate presentation. So I apologize in advance. You'll be tired of hearing my voice by tomorrow around 8:15. Okay, so can you all see kind of the five tips here?
It's
No.
not showing up yet, Matt. Try to reshare that one.
Okay.
And I do find that the content part is where a lot of people stall because they know that video is important and that YouTube is important. But then they're just like, well, what do I do now? Like, I know I need to do it, but what can I do?
Are you seeing that now?
And we
Yes.
sure are.
Okay, awesome. All right, so there's a lot of different structures that you can kind of use, video types that you can use. One that's not on here or actually one that is on here is day in the life. This is a video that I keep seeing on my own YouTube feed. Anytime I go on to YouTube, I keep seeing, day in the life of these different characters. So let me run through these video types as just ways to get started with these basic video frameworks, just kind of some framework to think about producing content for. So the first is just nuts and bolts, similar to what I'm doing right now. I'm just deconstructing a complex concept or process into very basic steps. Hopefully I'm delivering some value for you today as I'm kind of navigating that video type. The number two kind of big picture video type that you can start producing for immediately is a day in the life, and that's just following around another influential person in your industry or local market. Um, you may always use the same interior designer or remodeler or mortgage lender or cleaning service to get your house market ready. Documenting somebody's day in the life and showing the value that they bring, and especially if they have a big personality, that can only help to grow your YouTube channel. The third one is my favorite. I like to pick a fight. Whenever there is a really popular idea that lives online, as you all know, you can't believe everything you read online or see on YouTube. So, there are some trends that kind of take on a life of their own. And you might be the local expert to say, hey, wait a minute, let's kind of, let's think about this with a little bit more nuance. Or, maybe you want to throw cold water on a theory if it has holes in it. I'll give you a perfect example that's happening right now in my industry. There's kind of this misconception that artificial intelligence can create a video for you. And that's just simply not true. I wrote a new blog article that kind of outlines 20 different steps of the video creation process that artificial intelligence or a robot can't currently do for you. So I'm working on that YouTube video right now that I'm going to publish on my YouTube channel, and it's going to kind of help to advocate for local videographers and video editors like myself who quite literally still need to go through these manual steps of creating a video. So I'm going to pick a fight against artificial intelligence on that video, so stay tuned for that. Number four is to crowdsource for your video ideas, and that's just asking followers from your most visible social media page for questions to produce a YouTube video. If you ask them for input or suggestions or ideas, hey everyone, what would be a helpful idea for me to produce a YouTube video for you? So let's say you have thousands of followers on your Facebook page and you're looking to maybe convert them into YouTube viewers as well. That's a great way to sort of kill two birds with one stone, because you're literally seeking out input from them. You're asking them what would deliver value into their lives, and then you're also at the same time kind of helping to convert them over to a new platform that you're putting more time and effort into. And then the number five video type is just testimonials. So that's giving a face to a story by documenting a person who it impacts. This is actually my favorite, type. I'm a documentary style, video producer. So, this is kind of the bread and butter of what I personally do. So, finding unique characters is always a kind of a great practice. Here's just kind of another bonus idea, and that is just to localize national news. Yesterday, for example, I saw on the Yahoo Finance page that Housing is so unaffordable that banks are actually losing money for each mortgage they finance for the first time ever. So this is a national headline, national news. It's a Reuters story. But maybe, give yourself credit and, give yourself some credit on the local level as a realtor. You're seeing how this national news story is manifesting itself on a local level. You're really on the front lines of how the real estate markets across the United States are evolving in real time. So maybe you're seeing, banks in State College or banks in Pennsylvania or banks in the Northeast reacting in a way that is presenting something you've never seen before. Maybe you're seeing something, about the process, about the mortgage lending process that you've quite never literally seen in your entire career. You can produce a video about that trend and maybe be a first mover on YouTube talking about how this national news story and national trend is really manifesting itself on a local level. And then also I think that I'm going to turn off my screen sharing for a moment. You can kind of reverse that too. Maybe, maybe you're seeing something on a local level that's not yet on the national radar. Maybe there's something that you're seeing, first-time home buyers do for the first time ever. You've never seen that before. And then like for me, I remember when I bought my first home, I didn't write a letter to the seller, telling them who I was and telling them this beautiful story about myself, I didn't do that. Like that was, 12 years ago or whatever. I didn't, that wasn't part of the process, but now it's like commonplace. It's like you need to write a letter, right? So like when you see something like that in the real world, it's like, wow, this is the first time I've ever seen this happen, or maybe this is really gaining momentum. I think trust your judgment, trust your expertise, trust your, experience to say, wow, like this is a little bit different. This is, alarm bells should be going off in your head. This is a great opportunity to produce, content for social media, content for YouTube, because then, you can help grow your audience by maybe, connecting with a national audience. So, think about ways to localize a national story, or think about a local story that maybe State College, Pennsylvania is the first mover as part of an emerging trend.
I can add, I think one of the things, like you did a day in the life of like other people. I think one of the things that every realtor should do is a day in the life of themselves. I feel that a lot of clients really don't fully get the process and what realtors do behind the scenes. They only see what's on the $1 million listing, and they only see like parts of it. They don't see the actual like pain and suffering that everyone goes through on the back end. But I think that is something that because I know from just being on this side of it, I have had clients just like, I don't understand this, or why does it cost this? And they don't see the back end stuff. So I think day in the life of just yourself and what you do is key. But then also like how the process works, like from start to finish, is an awesome video, which is then obviously nuts and bolts. But I just think that there's so many opportunities to explain. I know Caitlin and I have had this conversation many of times, and I just haven't had 5 seconds to sit down and create them. But it is something that we are looking to do and to get out there so that people can understand the process and what goes into buying a home or selling a home. Like, how does it work? My 2 cents.
Absolutely. And yep. Brandy, just to piggyback on that, I think if it is overwhelming to produce like an entire, 8-hour or 12-hour or 16-hour workday, bite off that project in little pieces, make it digestible to yourself, give yourself grace to do, and this is, perfect, a perfect plug for using a YouTube playlist. Maybe it's a YouTube playlist in the short term, and then you're growing that into a longer form version of a video, maybe starting just, like breaking your day into 4 parts, creating a small video for each of those. Maybe you have, 4 5-minute videos that live on that YouTube playlist that showcases your day in the life, and then you revisit it later and edit that down into maybe a 2 or 3 minute highlight video, or even less than 60 seconds. So, Caitlin, did you have any thoughts on that?
also a little plug to for people that have no idea where to start or how to even get videos. Obviously, Matt is here. He knows how to do that. So for those of you that are just kind of out in right field, knowing that it's something that needs to be done, but no idea where to start or how to even do it, obviously that's what he's here for. So he's great at doing those, condensing videos or making what you feel is so overwhelming very not overwhelming in your world.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, I think a lot of people really struggle with that. They struggle with this idea that they want a really well-produced video, but then they're sitting there with their iPhone and they're just like, what now? And being able to talk with a local resource like Matt I feel like it really dissuades a lot of your fears, because there are opportunities for both professional videos and for videos you shoot yourself, or videos where you bring someone in to help you with them. Matt, we're nearing the end of our time here, but I did want to mention you had talked with me about the AI software to help you label your YouTube videos. I thought that was so stinking cool. Would you mind going over that before we finish up today?
Absolutely. Yes. Okay, pardon the delay here. Okay, can you see my screen again?
Yes, can.
Okay, so two tools that I would recommend that you download. The first is vidIQ. That is really just kind of like training wheels to help you produce videos that will reach an audience on YouTube. This is one of the tools within their website. There's a free version of the website and there's a pay for membership service. But they have a keyword search, so you can search if you're brainstorming a topic for a video and you want to see what does the competition look like on YouTube for that video, you can literally go to this keyword tool. And for example, on this, I wrote luxury homes in State College, and it showed me, what does the search volume look like currently on YouTube for that term? What's the competition look like, and versus, how much inventory there is. So as realtors, you all understand the supply and demand dynamic. So kind of this, vidIQ allows you to kind of sift through the data on the supply and the demand side for what the market looks like for YouTube videos. So that's a really helpful tool. And then the other tool that I would recommend that you use is Canva. If you're not already using Canva for social media, they have a great tool within it to create YouTube thumbnails for your YouTube videos, and thumbnails are just critically important. So this is another wrinkle within vidIQ. They have artificial intelligence suggesting title recommendations for my video. So for example, I said pros and cons of living in State College, Pennsylvania, and then I clicked on get title ideas, and then it gave me these top 5 more search engine friendly headline ideas, title ideas for my video, uncovering the surprising benefits of living in State College, PA, being the top search result for that. And then this is what Canva looks like when you're creating your thumbnail for your video. So I created this thumbnail for a home remodeling client of mine and saved that, and I was able to upload that directly onto my YouTube video that I produced for them. Caitlin, do I have time to show YouTube Shorts really quick?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so YouTube Shorts are basically YouTube's way to sort of compete with TikTok and videos that are shorter than 60 seconds or even 15 seconds or less. YouTube Shorts technically need to be 60 seconds or less, but obviously there's a huge audience for 15 seconds or less. If you're not putting advertising dollars behind your YouTube videos that you're creating right away, you're quite literally going to get between maybe 30 to 50 times the reach on a YouTube short than you are versus a long form video currently right now, just because YouTube is kind of in this arms race with Instagram and TikTok, for the audiences who are watching these shorter videos. So you can produce a YouTube short video directly from your smartphone, or you can actually even take a video that you've already uploaded onto YouTube, and you can edit it into a short. So I'm just gonna, I did a screen capture here, and this is part of the, I have a playlist that breaks down this webinar into individual topics. This quick introduction to YouTube Shorts and how to edit existing YouTube videos into short is one of those videos. So you can go back and watch this afterwards. But I'll just quickly show you how to do that. If you have an existing long form video and you want to edit it into a short, you have that button on the app when you're using YouTube on your app. And then, like you can see here, I can add text to the video. I can add a new voiceover. I can go onto a video editing timeline and trim the video. I can also add filters. And then you can post it like a normal social media post, or like writing a normal YouTube description. So you're going to want to use hashtags where appropriate. And you can even test one short video versus another. You might find out that one might do better for your audience versus another. So just continue to write a description so that YouTube knows who the target audience is for this video. So,
and that's another great example about how
that is really, really important right now.
Yes. And that's another great example about how YouTube as a platform, it really does encourage
better on your channel among a few
ooh.
videos. That was a pre-recorded video playing in the background.
Gotcha. So there wasn't a second you, understood. Yeah, so you're able to reestablish and reuse certain content in different mediums that really make it impactful and reach different audiences. And YouTube's one of the few that makes it super easy to do that. Whereas, you know, with Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, you're kind of making your content a lot of times specifically for that platform. And so if you want to switch between a story and a reel, you're often doing 2 different videos, or having to edit one video into 2 of those. But YouTube, you can do it right there. Your screen is still shared, Matt.
Okay. Thanks for the heads up there. I'm looking for, can we put the link? I'm looking for the link for the YouTube playlist on kind of the rest of this tutorial here. We can share that in the chat room.
Absolutely. I think I have it right here, and I will also email everyone the link, the various links that we've talked about today, the AIs, how to access Canva, the link to the playlist that he's mentioned, where he has sort of these bite-sized portions of information for each process, as well as the link to our video vault, which will house this video that we've taken today for the webinar. As we're kind of nearing the end, do you guys have any questions? Or any final notes and topics and keys that we were interested in, or any last minute words from you, Matt?
The one thing the one technical thing I don't want to dive into right now is just adding chapter markers to your video. If you have a long form video, you can add chapter markers to that. So on the playlist that we're sharing right now, there's a segment on that if you're interested in how to do that. You know, as a video producer, you really do want to think about like subcategories, you know, subsets of your audience. That's just another tool to kind of create a niche or a subset of your video within, you know, if you have a long format video and you create chapter markers, people can skip to the individual lessons, for example, or the individual moments that might relate to them more.
Sorry, I was just grabbing the hyperlink here. So that is a link to one of the videos in your playlist, I believe. You should be able to access it and view the playlist that he's referring to whenever he's talking about, you know, these bite-sized pieces of information and the how-tos and the nuts and bolts on how to do YouTube. It's very helpful.
And there's also, I mentioned earlier, I just kind of briefly mentioned that you can customize the look of your channel and cater it to new visitors versus returning visitors. There's also a segment that kind of dives a little deeper into that on that YouTube playlist if you want to see what that looks like and how to do that specifically. That's something, once you've produced 2 or 3 videos for your YouTube channel, I would encourage you to take advantage of that tool and just, you know, get into the practice of really catering your message to individual audience members, because you really want to think about how you're delivering value to their lives. That's the bottom line for how you're gonna grow your channel. So I wish you the best of luck with that.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. If you have any questions for our team or for Matt, I will also include his email in the email that I send out. Like I said, he's a local resource. I definitely recommend you taking advantage of, well, maybe not taking, that's the wrong wording. Utilize his services.
Yeah, if you ever have a bunch of raw video and you just need it edited down, or even if you want somebody to take a look at it and maybe give some advice, or I'm always happy to kind of give a free estimate, take a look at raw footage, and kind of help navigate if you're really struggling in terms of how to break down larger concepts into smaller individual videos. So I spend majority of my day editing video, so I didn't have my safety net today as I'm rambling on in this virtual webinar, but I really appreciate the opportunity, Caitlin, you putting this together, and Brandy for the opportunity. So if you ever need a videographer or video editor locally, or just someone to give you some advice, I would love to be a resource for you all. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, with that, I'm now going to click
Leave.
one of these buttons to leave. Goodbye, everyone.
See
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day, everybody.